All right, gonna do a short little share video on upgrades that I've made to my my powder drop system, or my powder charger system. And so I'll kind of review, because I don't think I've really talked much about any of this stuff on the channel, review what I've been doing or using as it relates to powder measure. And I'll show you what I've changed to here recently. So flip the camera and around, and here we go. So for the last, I think, 2 years, I've been running the RCBS Charge Master. I run them in dual to keep up, I guess, time with being able to either almost constantly be dropping powder into cases or dropping powder and seating. So they are pretty quick, but they're, I want to say, not as fast as a single of what I've upgraded to, in my opinion. They worked really well, I will say, on average, for dropping like N150, Varget, 6.5 Sable, that kind of a powder. They run pretty good, but the SDs that I was getting was kind of around 12 or so, plus or minus, which ran pretty well, but there's a significant difference. One of the upgrades, if you do go this way, which they're great machines, MKM makes these, I would say, overserts for the little, I don't know, muzzle or tube here. And sorry if you're hearing the kids upstairs, but they're going wild. And it makes the powder drops way more consistent and not over dropping at the same trickle. So, but that's kind of all been taken care of within this new system. So I'm going to pop over here. And so what I've changed to is, this is an Autotrickler. It is not a brand new one, and I've kind of been a holdout for a while of doing this. Have a few buddies that run these, and they've loved them for a long time. But it's a really good time if you're going to make the switch to potentially do this. So what I did, and I'm pretty active selling on and buying on Sniper's Hide. So I went to Sniper's Hide. This is a Gen 3 Autotrickler. You see kind of autotrickler.com. So this is a Gen 3. Right now, there's a lot of folks that are upgrading to either the Gen 4 version of this, or there's another thing that has this kind of whole setup that goes over the top. It looks like a single machine with the scale at the bottom, which we'll talk about, is a super trickler. So you can get these for a decent deal right now, used. Now, I will say, I did buy a Gen 2. It's down there. Don't waste your money on a Gen 2. It's not worth it. It's just not made anywhere near as well as this. It has a lot of plastic parts within the powder drop mechanism. The hopper's better on the Gen 3. A little bit about the scale. So this is an A&D. This is a FX120i, which is maybe their next to lowest scale. There's a bunch of websites where you can buy this this scale. And, you know, this is a premium setup. But what you're going to get out of here is, I've taken my SDs to pretty much under 7. Warmed up for a match and sighted in was about a month ago now, and my SD was literally 1. So a huge difference because of the consistency in the powder drop on this here. We're talking within like 2/100ths of a grain. So each kernel is about 2/100ths of the grain in a, right now I'm loaded in N150, which is kind of similar to Varget in this. This is for my my 6BR. And the other part of this, let me see, grab this out of here. So the Gen 3, and the tube's not in here normally, come out of there. This has a, similar to the Chargemasters, has a horizontal trickler tube. This has a bunch of upgrades from Area 419 on it, so not exactly the Gen 3, but a lot of guys are selling these full kits when they sell their Gen 3s, because they don't use these side tricklers anymore. The Gen 4s don't, neither does the Super Trickler. But the horizontal tube trickle has some of the same issues. Now the scale takes care of a lot of that, as far as the accuracy and the drop, and it is the horizontal tube trickler does just fine. I loaded some great SDs with it, but here recently went ahead and I had done the back order. So if you're going to get one of these, you probably have to get in the back order line, and it's only like a month and a half, so it's really not that long. But this is from Ingenuity Precision. You can see the drop tube is different. It comes in from the top. And the way that this thing works, you have these different discs, and they have a disc chart of which powder you're going to be dropping for which tube or which disc insert you would use. See, but you can see in there, each one of those little notches in this disc will pick up normally pretty much a single kernel. Now, a single kernel in the N150 is about 2/100ths of a grain, which is a really great drop. And once it gets in there, it drops right away down through this tube and immediately reads in here. So this thing, kind of how this works and the precision of it, speeds up the trickle portion a decent amount. So let's see, I'll get this dropped out here. And we'll let it run. You're going to see it's going to do kind of the mass drop. It trickles a bit. It's hard to tell that it's even running, but next I'll do one more for you guys too. Let me get this down through the powder here. So drops pretty good. I mean, you're talking about 2/100ths of a grain. Normally, like on the RCBS, you're kind of more in the 1/10 of a grain situation. So it's going to drop. It's going to trickle up. Bam. So, like I said, each kernel is 2/100ths of a grain. So if I really wanted to, I know I could take a kernel out. Now, just know that this A&D scale, the reason that this housing on here is I could literally talk or blow onto this scale, and that's how sensitive this thing is, so it would move. So super happy with this. Really low SDs. Do you need the Ingenuity Precision? No, I do like it a lot better than the horizontal trickler. There's no more like, hey, run the trickler and get the powder all the way out to the end to start doing that. I mean, it's right there. It's immediately ready to go. So, and you don't have to fill this big hopper in to feed it down a tube either. So, if you guys are looking to cut your SDs down, I will say from other measurers, and I wish I knew what that video was. They kind of talked about the 3 different tiers of electronic powder drops. This is in the middle. The only thing, which I don't know that the cost delta going to it, the only thing that they're saying is more accurate than this, which when you're talking about 2/100ths of the grain, I don't know how much more you could really squeeze out, would be the Prometheus, which is, if you've ever seen, I think it's like a black box. It has an internal balance scale with a backlit scale point indicator on the front. They're saying that is the only thing, but if I wanted to get all of these exactly to 30, I could do it. I don't know, if I'm getting SDs of 1 or even 4, how worth it that actually is. But thought I would share. It's an upgrade. I held out for at least 2 years, 2.5 years to do this. Was happy with my Charge Masters, but even happier with this guy. So have a good one.